Hi guys! Since I figured we were going to be outside doing the Mod Podge anyway, I thought I would come outside to do this project today because Mod Podge is very, very smelly and will smell up your house kind of like acetone smell when one does their fingernails. So, welcome aboard. We're going to do the fabric printed journal with Infinite Color Studio. Thank you for joining us. Your artists will create their own custom stamped fabric that they will use to cover a blank journal, to write in or to sketch for a nature journal. I bought some that are just blank pages for the kids to do their own crafts, their own drawings, whatever they felt like doing. Or you could have a lined one for a journal. It's perfect for everybody, artists of all ages from 5 to 105, and you can choose a store-bought journal like I did. I got one from Amazon very inexpensively, and it came with like 3 or 4, so pretty nice deal. And you can assemble the journal yourself also with some cut poster board and blank like printer paper. So let's go gather our supplies and we'll see you back here in a second. Okay families, we are getting set with our supplies. You want to make sure to have some your cotton-based fabric, and you can cut that to however you like. Make sure though that you have probably at least an inch, maybe 2 if you are uncomfortable with an inch, around where your journal is going to fit. I kind of traced out where my journal is going to go, just very, very lightly with pencil. You want to have some foam shapes or sheets of foam. If they don't have a sticky back, you're going to want some glue, and I highly suggest you don't use wet glue. Glue sticks or a permanent adhesive like Tombow are good options for the wet glue. I would not do that. You want your acrylic paints and a medium flat brush, your water cup, and you're going to want some tape. Masking tape is good, but I also like duct tape because it's very strong. You want to have your cardboard pieces too. Okay, cardboard. You want to have large ones, large enough to choose a design and pattern and make that. All right, and let's see, scissors. You need scissors. And I think that's about it. And then you're ready to get started. Okay guys, you're gonna want to, if you haven't already, either have your purchased journal. Like I said, this is a sketchbook. I thought it would be perfect for sketching and journaling and putting stickers or your drawings or a flower if you find it in the forest, whatever you feel like. You want to have that ready, and if you have not made, if you're going to make one, you want to have folded printed paper cut in half, folded in half with poster board, and so you want to cut the poster board slightly larger than the paper for the cover, and then use a binding of some sort, like, they could sew it like this. This is all sewn, and that would be pretty hard with that amount of paper. Or you can use a large long arm stapler, which most people don't really have on hand, but if you're in a group or you're doing this quite often, or perhaps your job has one you could borrow, use that. And so you want to ka-chunk in the middle. Most staplers will not reach to the middle of even this like small journal. So you want to have about an inch of space at least for your printed paper, your fabric that you're going to print. So I'm just going to kind of very, very lightly use a pencil, and you'll be doing this later anyway, but I'm just kind of doing it so that I know to cut at least an inch around my fabric. So I kind of have a very light rectangle. You can't even see it, barely. You can see a little right there. So we're going to put the journals aside, and now's the time to cut your fabric. So again, you want to make sure to have at least an inch or more above your journal. This is probably a little smaller, this is a little bigger. And if you're super picky about cloth that's not ironed, go ahead and iron that first also. You want to do that first. And we'll check back here in just a second. Guys, we're getting set to do our project with the stamping. So you have your cloth that you already cut out. You're ready to go. Make sure it's clean. This could be, you definitely want a plain color because you're going to be painting on the cloth. So with your foam shapes, if they don't have a sticky back, which these don't, so you need to have some sort of a glue. I'm going to use Tombo's permanent adhesive. I think that'll be better than stick glue and definitely better than wet Elmer's glue. Stick glue is good probably if you don't have anything else, but wet Elmer's glue is not going to dry fast enough, really, in my opinion, for this project. So you want to glue your shapes, figure out a design first. Let's see, maybe I want, oh look, there's cute little hearts. Maybe I want a circle, and I'm going to make some flowers. So some of these guys, and the colors don't matter because you're going to be painting the colors on that you like. So try to find all your pieces that you want. And get them glued down in the shapes and designs that you wish to make with your family or friends, whatever you have at your house here. I'm going to have to pull out some more shapes. Where are the rest of those? Tell me there's more. You can always cut some out of these guys. Just round them off. But then they won't be very uniform. But again, they'll be unique. So then there's these little guys too I could use. What have we got here? I'm going to dump out the whole thing. See what I can find. I might have to abandon my flower shape. Or at least make it smaller. Okay. So this is why we don't glue first. You glue last. Put your, make your designs. I might use some of these guys in there. A couple more of those in there. And these guys. Okay, that's something. Improvise, overcome, achieve. Okay, when you think you have your design set, go ahead and get it glued down, and we'll meet you right back here. Guys, now that we're set with our patterns, I highly suggest you have the tape pre-cut for your kiddos, unless they're older. You want to have it already set to go for them. Personally, I think that one should put the handle on first. So you're basically going to make a handle like this. You have your tape, and then you're making a little tent. Let's see if you can see that better there. Squeeze that together. There's your handle, and then place it on your cardboard. Now you have a little handle to make your print as you go. And then once you do that, you're going to cut around the print, the designs that you're making. Make sure not to cut off the handle though. So it's okay to cut, you know, around here, that's fine. Just don't cut this part, the actual handle. You wanna cut around your print, your designs. Also, when your kids are stamping, encourage them to make a pattern on their cloth. So here we have, oops, I decided to add another triangle and I forgot to glue it down. I figured 4 was not enough. So you can obviously make your own designs, whatever you want. So I have the flower-ish looking thing, some triangles. So you're gonna make a pattern. I would do, you know, if you want, obviously kids are gonna do what they want to, but encourage them to make a pattern that looks cute. Maybe at the top or the bottom, I might put these little heart designs, but remember, we're just kind of remembering where our actual journal is. You do want to do as much of the cloth as you can. Okay, and we'll meet you back here after you finish making your handles. Okay, families, now we are ready to stamp our project and paint it down. So you want to get your paint colors, and you probably want to separate them out, unless you don't care about mixing. That's also fine. And younglings will do as they wish. As far as painting goes, oops, looks like I need more green pretty soon. I just love this color right here. Oh, love it. All right, try not to, you know, get too much on your hands. If you do, maybe have some wet wipes around for your kids. So I'm going to start out with my hearts because I'm going to make kind of a border, I think, around. And so what you're going to do is set these aside. Just move everything over to the side. Set your paint to the side. You want to have a clear view of your project here on your messy mat. You want your brush, and then you're going to paint on the colors that you want. You can have them all one color, you can have a variety color, you can have them mixed. It's your project. You can have your journal look the way you want it. You can have big globs of paint, you can have thin. I'm going to show you what it looks like with bigger globs than thin globs. Okay, so this is kind of thin. This is very thin. And you want to work fast though, because as we may or may not know, acrylic paint dries pretty quick. Okay, so also there's the thin blobs, there's a thick blob. So you have more of the shape with a thick blob than a thin blob. You can still see the heart, it's just that it's got a little more definition actually. So if you like that, go ahead and do that. If you like the solid shape, make sure you have plenty of it on your foam. So just a reminder, make sure that your kiddos know that with printmaking, prints don't always transfer perfectly, as you can see here. So remind your kids that each print is unique, and that that's part of what makes printmaking special and exciting. So keep going around your project. I don't care. I like the nice blob, but then again, you know, I kind of like the other designs too. So if you're a stickler for the design, I'm going to want my upside down heart next, because in the pattern it's right side up, upside down, right side up. Okay, so I want my next pattern to be upside down, and kind of as close. If you don't make a perfectly straight line, that's okay, guys. It's printmaking. Okay, so keep going with all of your designs. Let's see, this is the center. Now remember, the center of your paper is going to be the center of your book. So if you print something in the center, it's going to be half here and half on the back. All right, so that, just make sure that you know that, oh, I printed a flower in the center of my cloth, but it didn't turn out in the center of my book. So you might want to put your book, and if you want something in the center, maybe you cut out a name for your journal out of the pieces, or you have foam letters and you're putting a name. So you want to make sure that that name isn't, oops, oh, half my name's over here and half my name's over here. So you might want to even draw like that center line, and then you're going to know that it'll be on this side. Okay? So just a thought, food for thought. And let's see, my flower, I'm going to do different colors. Okay, so I'm going to do the middle green. You probably want to paint all the colors that you're going to use, one color at a time on each petal. So let's say we got orange on the big ones. Some kids will just paint the whole thing one color, some will do multiple colors. So that's another great thing about printmaking. You can choose whatever colors you want and put them wherever you want. And I'm going to put the teal here on the little guys. Try to fill your whole foam piece. Okay, I am going to try to make this in the center. So I'm just eyeballing it here, because I do want that to go around the front and the back. Okay, so you can also keep going with this pattern if you want to. You can go all the way across the middle, or you can do it all over the place, whatever you feel like doing. Have fun doing your patterns. Okay folks, now that you've done most of your printing, I'm basically just going to kind of finish up here. I want you to just notice what I've done, and little kids will probably just stamp all over the place. Some will probably do patterns if you can teach them how to do that. That's always fun. So I made like the top and the bottom of mine with the hearts, and I made that pink. And of course you could do whatever colors you feel like doing, and whatever shapes you feel like doing. And now I'm just finishing up here. I want you to notice that my triangle's going downwards, so I want it to go up. So I need to make sure that this triangle is going to be up. So I'm going to be flipping and flopping this every time I print. And I like to line it up with the hearts, kind of. It's kind of a good little lineup. Oh, too much paint there, but that's the beauty of printmaking. So it's really fun. All the different stuff you can see. So if you like a lot of paint and you want that full solid color, do that. Also, I highly suggest a paper towel or a cloth or something to wipe your wet brush on. You don't want to have too many wet mixed up colors, unless that's what you want. That's totally fine too. Some kids may even stick their stamp right in the paint, boop, and just stamp away, and that's okay too. Whatever they feel like doing. This is their learning process. Okay, so no, that's got to go down. So again, we're flipping and flopping if you're doing a pattern like that. And then towards the end, I know that I don't care that much what it looks like, so I'm just going to press it again. You can keep doing that. And you can see I did that here, and I did that here. This is the edge of my paper or cloth. All right, now I have a lot of this empty space up here, which is going to appear in the journal. So, I mean, it's going to be on the inside and outside of your journal. So I think I'm going to take my flower again, or you can use whatever colors you want. I'm just gonna like literally put this right in the paint and squish it around. You might wanna, and you could like do all the colors if you feel like it. Okay, use your, you wanna make sure it gets everything. So you could, some of it might have too much, like over there. Yeah, too much. So I'm just gonna go, okay, I think that's kind of gonna be my middle. So I'm just gonna kind of go like this, all the way across. And you can't see that. Sorry, my bad. Get some more ink on there. Ink, not ink, paint. Stamp. You don't want to smear, just lift. All right. So now I'm going to do the bottom that way. But I'm also going to put the messy mat underneath. So I want to make sure that that is covering so one's table does not get totally crazy. All right, another thing you could do, which I just thought of, and I will do that on the messy mat. So you're gonna let this dry probably overnight or within several hours, especially if you have big globs of paint. You're gonna want that to dry. Okay, so something else I just thought of, you can use your negative space. That is the space around the foam that you guys have, and put plenty of paint inside there, or even just wipe off the foam or pre-stamp it. You can use the negative space to have a different type of like an outlining. So I'm going to wipe off, well, I'm just going to kind of stamp off lightly the foam pieces, just kind of rub them. Maybe a slightly damp paper towel. And then you have your, if you push harder, you have some negatives. Well, it didn't work so much, but that was a thought, you know. I think the more you stamp it, the better it will look. Yeah, you can see the negative space around the stamps a little bit better. So right here is where your foam is, and there's your negative space around it. Okay, all right, so let your project dry, and we'll meet you back here. I highly suggest for the next part you go outside. Okay, we're about to finish up our project now. We are finishing up the the fabric printed journals, and again, like I said before, you should probably do this part outside. The Mod Podge can be very, very smelly. So each child needs to have their scissors, pair of scissors, their fabric, of course, that they printed for their journal, and a journal that they either purchased or made. And if you're making one, I gave instructions before, but just in case that didn't happen, You need some blank paper and cardstock, and then you want to fold the cardstock in half. Make sure it's bigger than the actual paper, and staple it in the middle with a long arm stapler. Those of you that are making one. If you didn't make one and you are all set to go, and you're all set to go anyway, even if you did make one. So we're going to now glue this thing together. All right. So what you want to do is lay your fabric down, face down. So the side that you printed on, all colorful and pretty, you want down, so upside down, or whatever. It depends on your design. Okay, so you want that down. Then if you didn't do this already, and I need to do it now anyway because I did this on the side with the printed, with the fabric, you're going to lay your, open your journal, place it in the center of the fabric as centered as you can, and then with your pencil you're going to trace around the outside of it, approximately an inch away from all the edges. Okay, inch and a half inch away from all the edges. All right, and this is for people that didn't already cut their journal, their fabric out. Mine's already cut out, but I feel I could probably trim it a little bit more. So very lightly, you're just going around the edge, about an inch, inch and a half away from your journal, okay? All right, once you're done with that, you're going to cut out that fabric along the outer line, okay? So we'll give you time to do that. You guys have to remember I'm outside, so ambient hammering noises and stuff there might be. All right, go ahead and cut your paper out, or your cloth, I mean, sorry. I'm so used to working with paper. It's nice to work with cloth. I like this. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, now we are going to finish up our journal. So you want to put your journal page side up, the back side up, so that you see the outside of it. And just remember, if you have a pre-printed journal, it could show up. You're going to get your Mod Podge and you're going to spread it across the front and the back of your journal. I like a sponge brush for this part because it's very quick to use. Don't forget the spine. It is like a glue, so you want to work quick before it dries. And it's okay if you get it on the cloth because you're going to glue it on there anyway. Okay. All right, now you're going to flip your journal over and you make sure that it's, well, I guess if you have designs, it doesn't really matter. Make sure it's within the lines that you want for it. Smooth it out. Give it a nice little massage. Massage. Okay, then you're going to cut little slits towards the center of your book in your paper. I'm kind of going at a little angle, like a triangle. With things like this, that kind of works a little bit better. Might even have to lift the book up off your paper a little bit to get triangle shape. Get as close to the edge as you can. Also, you might want to do the same thing if you've taken any sewing classes to the corners, just so that you don't have a lot of overlapping fabric on the inside of your journal. Getting that cut out, almost finished. One more side. Again, you don't have to do this. I just think it would be wise. Okay. Now that you've done that, you're going to want to do the inside of your journal. So you're also going to want a piece of paper or some wax paper. Remember to just keep smoothing that out, make it nice and smooth on your paper. Make sure it's not sticking to something else, which it is because the glue just kind of seeps right through. I'm going to turn this over, smooth it out as best you can. And that's what your journal's going to look like, or this way, depending on what you think is the best way to look at it, especially if it's just blank pages. All right, friends, we're going to finish up now. So you want your parchment paper, wax paper, or just a regular white paper is fine. Small enough to fit on the inside of your journal. That was pretty big, so I'm going to be using this on both sides. Now you're going to paint with your Mod Podge if you have one of these small paintbrushes from like Home Depot or Walmart or even Amazon will sell these too. Just go around the edge because that's approximately where your fabric is going, and it's okay obviously to go into the fabric with that, so that you get all the way to the edge. And then you're going to fold your fabric in and give it another little smooth rub. Little massage. Okay. Put your paper in. Until it dries so it doesn't get stuck on your other paper, on your nice journal paper. I'm going to crease mine just a little bit to make sure that there's no glue on that one side of the paper of the journal. Okay, next side, go ahead and do just about 1 inch. Make sure to get all the way to the edge. Yay, almost done with our cute little journal. It's so cute. And I did get a little glue on that paper, so I'm just going to wipe it off and hope for the best. But also remember, we're putting the parchment paper or wax paper or whatever you have. I think I might even do this side first and the edges last. And your hands will get a little bit sticky because of the glue. It does seep through the cloth a little. But, I mean, how cute is this? Seriously. Super cute. Right? Super cute. I did not cut off my edge as much as I should have. There we go. you can fix that before it's completely glued down. You might also want to double check like cloth on cloth. You might want to make sure that that's glued. So this one didn't, but the other one did. Go ahead and put your paper down to protect it. I'm going to double check the cloth on cloth on this side. Yep, that looks good, that looks good. Okay, so we're good to go. Now you have your fabric painted journal that you did yourself, and it's really cute. This would make a really good birthday present, Father's Day, Mother's Day present, Christmas present, or just something special for yourself that you worked on, or a present for grandparents. Thank you so much for joining me at Infinite Color Studio. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Bye, friends.